Good evening, Lums, and happy Halloween. Well, for everyone that celebrates, hope you enjoy your treats and only nice tricks, okay? Anyway, I have something that I want to talk about tonight, and it's short and sweet, but it's how we see things, our perception of things. And not only is this great for our intimate relationships, but this is really helpful for all of our relationships. And it's being able to separate our perception, which is our story of what happened or what's occurring, on how we're seeing things, versus fact, what actually happened and what's happening. What I mean by that is how we feel about something and our perception of something really can run away like a freight train. Like really just take on a life of its own. And what happens with every thought that goes into our perception, the train just is going and going and going, and it's just on a non-stop path. And then you have to step aside and look at the facts. What is actually happening? And what is our perception of what's happening? And that would be our story. Sometimes our story of how we perceive things or how we felt when something happened is not fact at all. When I started doing this with everything that goes on in my life, it was really eye-opening because the way we feel and perceive about things can be at such a heightened experience that it can get away from the actual facts of what occurred or what's getting ready to occur, this and that and the other. It's just it really is apples and oranges, and being able to separate the two is huge in our relationships. For an example, if your partner says something to you, and maybe you just kind of read it wrong, but it's not actually what happened, but it's how you felt about it and how you're perceiving it. But it's not actually what happened. Or you're thinking about something and elaborating on your thoughts on how you feel about something, but that actually didn't happen. It's just a matter of separating our facts from story, and it's really taking the guesswork out of our experiences and our relationship. That's what it does. It takes out all the guesswork and the imagination. If you do this exercise, your imagination will not weave in as much and what's actually happening in your relationship, and it keeps it very, very healthy. It trains you to stick to the point of what actually occurred without weaving in your story. There's no story. Don't weave in the story. And I tell you what, it saves a lot of stress. A lot of stress that's just not necessary. I mean, how many times do we walk around and we weave this whole thing in our heads and it hasn't even happened? That's our story. So I think if we can get that story, out of there, it leaves us, stress-free and a lot happier. And there's people walking around that love us, and we start looking at them a little differently. Our perception changes of what's really going on. So anyway, fact versus story. Use that, apply that in your relationships. I'm telling you, it is absolutely life-changing. Otherwise, that's my tip for tonight. I hope you have a beautiful Halloween weekend, and I love you. Reach out to me here, Facebook, Bear This and That Relationship Radio, or my Twitter, @Bear This and That, or send me an email, bearthisandthat@gmail.com. Love you. Mwah. Good night.